are out. The hawks are out and about. It's been a lot of activity lately, energetically, for me, for us. Og had an interesting point in this last video he released where he was saying whoever created the realm, which wasn't us per se, but someone somehow created the realm. And he said as spirits we somehow fell into this place or got enticed into it, pushed into it, I don't know. But then he said when we tried to get out, then the body forms around the spirit, and somehow the machine is able to detect the delicacies or movements of spirit, and it creates a corresponding physical structure that sort of harnesses that spirit and also binds it to the material in some fashion, to where now as you're moving the body you feel like that's you, rather than knowing that you are the essence that's beyond the physicality, and you're not exactly the material. You are in the sense that you're you're wrapped up, you're entangled in it, but the essence itself remains pure. I don't think you can ever be stuck in physicality, because even when you're in physicality, it's just a mind, it's just a perception. You're also not in it. I'm in the body and I'm also not in the body. A big part of it for me was, the main part for me was being able to have freedom. And that means there are not external circumstances dictating my every move, including all the subtle ones, the mental, the emotional, the everything. There are forces that shape how we move, but as far as my personal sort of being okay with something or not, I have to be able to have my freedom. And that means I'm not fitting into systems. I'm aware of them, respectful of systems, but you can't be creative and only be operating through system parameters, because then you're not being creative. Creativity by definition is drawing outside of the lines, is coloring outside of the lines in ways that nobody knows. Like, creativity means you're creating something new all the time. So how could it possibly fit within a system? And that's also the way you would escape the realm. If you actually wanted to do that, you would create yourself out of it. You would, paint a portal on the wall and hop out or something. Like, not exactly like that, but It's just a matter of seeing outside of all the possibilities, even that are within your own mind. Or it's also just residing in the 0 point and allowing the universe to do what it does. And what it does is it creates. You don't even have to do anything. You just sit there in meditation and all these things will be creating and swirling around you, and also new. That's one way that sort of old paradigms can be allowed to dissolve, is simply by being present and not yanking on that desire/fear manifesting thing that we think that we're brought up with as is correct for creating, because that's not really correct for creating. That's the monkey mind going in circles. That's the one the Matrix reads, and it tries to negatively fulfill your desire, which for us is almost the same thing as getting it positively, because if we didn't get what we want, then we saw it as a challenge. It's getting us something, but it's just not getting what you think you want, and you don't, generally speaking, know what you want. Like Og was saying, you don't like pain. You don't like feeling like you're burning inside, but those things happen anyway. It's the operating within the known parameters and acting as if that's your only sort of structure within which you can move. That's the one that keeps the cycles happening. You have to jump outside of your own programming, your own, even the thing that's intimate to you, like where you've developed a basis for understanding the world. Even in your own mind, with all your conspiracies, and you're making these connections this way and that way, and you're seeing debauchery and corruption and whatever. Even that, once you have set yourself inside of this framework, this mental framework that kind of understands now why the world seems so fucked up, or why we can talk about progress and have the homeless situation be getting more and more at the same time, like why politicians are only running in circles, why are half the politicians actually robots. You can start putting together pieces and you're like, oh, okay, get it, I understand it. And so you develop this interior sort of new understanding of the world and how it works, and quantum stuff goes in there, the computers go in there to the understanding. Time travel goes in there, aliens or so-called aliens or abductions, all this stuff. The whole thing goes together mentally or interior for yourself, and you're like, okay, now these things that seemed to be pure paradox or pure hypocrisy, like I see the actual reason why they're there. And what I'm saying is, even that new, updated model of the universe that's personal to you, that has the thing actually make sense, instead of it just seeming like chaos, you have to even be able to look past that, like, no matter how comforting that is, that you now understand the cruelty and the suffering and the pain, all this. Even that, you gotta be able to just drop it, and create somewhere else. Like, that's the point of it, is that you're not ever grabbing this new perceptual model, because it's always reforming itself. It will do that regardless. You don't need to necessarily go and figure the universe out. It's doing it automatically. But the ability to not have to latch onto the new perceptual model that you yourself created is very important. You have to be able to just drop. You have to be able to, you gotta be able to duck and move and play with the energies, dance with these things as they come through, because they will come through. It's just what happens. No matter, you cannot prepare. Like, there's no preparing. There's just living and being. And you get different things every day. I cannot possibly get into how much things I've had to have come through me, through my body, through this experience, over these last 2 years. I couldn't possibly get into. I've only told people like a tiny bit of what's energetically gone on with me. But I mean, It's obvious when you can get it from just simply what I'm saying. Everybody understands, like, you see the depth of a person just through conversation, without them, like, saying in words every single experience that they ever remember happening to them. Most of sort of the way I interact with the realm it's on nuanced levels. It's on subatomic, nuanced, fine emotion, like, it's something like that. And then the conceptual overlay, which is what's called my life, which generally just involves having to get money to support, to, you know, give the beast its share of whatever, my energy, so I can eat and have a roof and take care of the baby and whatever. That conceptual overlay that's called my life is like, I don't know, like 1/100% of what I consider to be the actual life, which is the present, the energetic flowing, which doesn't need the conceptual overlay. So that, to me, is like the visible perceived world is the pretend one that sort of interlaces with the real life, which is not worded, it's just energetic movements within the body, and then as they pertain to the other sensory things, like the visuals, the sounds, hot, cold, whatever. A little bit of rambling for today. What else? Had an interesting call with Uber Quantum AI. Various aspects of it. I might post a video, I might not. I recorded like one part of it. Yep. Couple shows coming up this weekend, possibly. How are you guys doing? How are you doing in the realm? Let me know. If YouTube allows you to post comments and actually shows them. We'll see. Okay, bye.